Hello, everybody. Welcome to a emergency podcast edition of Hawk Blogger Mornings. I'm Brian Imhauser. You can find us in everything we do: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, at Hawk Blogger. And before I get into the news that is bringing you all here, just a reminder that we are giving away 2 tickets to this game on Saturday between our Hawk Blogger side and Simply Seattle. If you go to the Simply Seattle Instagram page account, you will see the instructions for how to enter. You just got to make sure that you tag a friend and that both of you follow both the Simply Seattle Instagram account as well as the Hawk Blogger Instagram account. A couple other little bits in there. Not only will you get a chance to win tickets to this game, but you'll get a chance to win a $100 gift card to Simply Seattle. And both of those are pretty sweet things to get. All right. So, if it wasn't enough to have 2 hours of the show this morning with a ton of great guests, and if you didn't see Brian Baldinger and Brett Coleman and Mina Kimes this morning, make sure you make some time to go see that. It was excellent stuff from them. We went through, and I'll tell you, like I went to practice today fully with a focus on, is Charles Cross going to play, and is Charles Cross going to be practicing? And I'll get to that story quickly. He did practice. I have video of him. I can share video of him where he ran out on the practice field, jogged out. He was wearing a brace on his, I think, left knee. And cutting to the chase, injury report was produced. And this is, again, the final injury report. This is, even though it's a Thursday, it's 2 days before the game. This makes it like a Friday. So this is the final injury report for the game, and Charles Cross is playing. Good news. That's great news, right? Well, yes, and Sam Darnold was listed as questionable on the injury report with an oblique injury. And I honestly, when the PR person told us that, I stared at him. I was like, is he joking? Like, is he trying to like get us to react? He wasn't joking. I was like looking around and everyone else is like, Sam Darnold's questionable with an oblique. And so everyone like kind of got animated and is like, okay, what's going on here? Because Sam Darnold was also scheduled to speak to the press, to the media today after practice. So I was like, okay, are they going to bring out Sam? Are they going to bring out Drew Lock? Well, they bring out Clint Kubiak. And Clint Kubiak, as is often like the reality, he's not enabled to talk about injuries. That's what the head coach does. Mike McDonald is not scheduled to speak to the media until tomorrow. So Clint Kubiak deferred his conversation or his awareness of this to Mike McDonald and spent some of his press conference talking about Drew Lock getting reps today. And that led to even more, oh my gosh, what's actually happening here? I started getting text messages from folks in San Francisco media, like what's going on? And so word was spreading really quickly. And then Adam Dirty spoke. And then it was like, all right, are they going to bring out Sam? Are they going to bring out Drew Lock? And just as a shortcut for all of you, if you ever wonder, this is something I've learned since my time getting credentialed. If the PR team puts a player out to speak to the media, they're very likely going to play. Now, there's some times where they speak to the media and then they get injured after, or they get sick after they speak to the media, and that can change things. But generally speaking, if they're going to be put out to speak to the media after an injury, there's a pretty good chance they're going to play. And so a little bit of bated breath, and then Sam Darnold walks through the door into the indoor practice facility at the VMAC, and he had this to say about his situation for this game.
Yeah, obviously, just in routes on air, just kind of felt a little something in my oblique. Just didn't want to push it. Wasn't the day to push it, so that was it. So just came inside, got some rehab, and feel like I'll be ready to go for Saturday.
That was just the day that happened.
Yeah.
You ever had anything with oblique issues or anything?
No, never had oblique issues, but it's fun. We'll attack it the next couple days and be ready to go for Saturday.
Is this on like throwing side?
It's just on my left side. It is what it is. But yeah, again, like I said, felt it on a throw, but we'll be ready to go.
What percent of you think she might not play?
It's a very low percentage, probably closer to 0.
Okay. Question there at the end. What's the percentage chance that you don't think you're going to play? He said very low percentage, close to 0. So look, you're going to get a lot of reactions to this. I want to clarify. I think there's some misleading stuff out there. I'm going to share some of what I think is misleading. I'm going to give you my opinion about all this. It's up to you to have your own opinion as well, but I'll share mine. I think this is, Sam Darnold's going to play. That's the expectation. I think I wanted to do this pod because I feel like there's going to be people that try to spin this into something that it's not. And I think, like, if I was in all of your situations, I'd want as close to a word on the ground, non-emotional, like trying to drive clicks or anything. I just want to tell you what I think is going to happen. And you guys can decide whether you agree or you agree with someone else. That's fine. But I just wanted to cut straight to it because it's stressful. You hear your starting quarterback might not play. So one of the things that's out there that I had this video, I chose not to publish it. And part of the reason I chose not to publish it was because I thought it was misleading. And I'll show you what video I'm talking about right now. This is Sam Darnold running out onto the practice field before he got injured. This is why I think is confusing, but I'm going to share it to you. And what you're going to see here is Sam Darnold running out on the practice field. And what you could see in his hand by his shoulder, by his right shoulder, that's a black Theragun or whatever type of massage gun he has. And he joked as he ran out onto the field. Nothing to see here. He was joking with us. Nothing to see here. And whoops, that is not what I meant to do. Let's bring that back out there. So you can see the gun in his hand, right? We'll rewind all the way to the beginning here. So he's not massaging his oblique. This is not related to the oblique injury. This is not like, oh, this is something he's been nursing. It is unrelated. Now, could it be that he had a sore throwing shoulder, and because he had a sore throwing shoulder, that threw something else out of the whack? Maybe. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to pretend to know all that. But I just have seen that kind of characterized in a different way, and I wanted to make sure you all got the straight word that they're unrelated. Like, as far as the gun was not related to him having an oblique injury. He ran onto the field. He went through walkthroughs, and then he was throwing on air, like not against the defense or anything. And he felt a little something, as you heard him say, and decided to be cautious about it. It was precautionary, and he's going to get treatment. He's confident he's going to play. I think the fact that he feels like he's confident he's going to play, the fact that the team put him out there to speak to the media, I think that's all pretty strong signs that Sam Darnold's going to play. So that's like the headline. I want to get that out there as quickly as possible. There's other parts of this that I want to get into as well. I'm going to go through the rest of the injury report as well. But I'll just say this. If Sam Darnold did not play, or if he does not play, I think the Seahawks beat the 49ers with Drew Lock anyway. And I'll explain why. And then I'll go through the rest of the injury report. What's Sam Darnold's issue? Turnovers. What's Drew Lock's issue? Turnovers. Like, I'm not sure that Drew Lock is a huge step down in terms of what you get at the position. I think that Sam Darnold is the starter for a reason. I also think Drew Lock has, when I've watched him play in practice, has done really, really well in most of those opportunities. And early on in OTAs and mini camps, he was outperforming Sam Darnold. So none of this is to say I don't think there's any difference between Sam Darnold and Drew Lock. There is a difference. But I think the divide between the Seahawks and the 49ers in terms of talent level, in terms of the type of game plan that they would need to beat the 49ers, is big enough that even if you have Drew Lock handing the ball off and running some of the play action stuff, I still think you win that game personally. Now, you guys can think that's crazy, but that's based off me watching those guys practice and watching how the offense ran with one versus the other. I think they can win with Drew Lock. I honestly do. Do I think they can win a Super Bowl with Drew Lock? That's a different question. But I do believe that Drew Lock would not be some guaranteed loss in this game. I don't think that. Now, there's some folks in chat asking, like, is this gamesmanship or something else? And it's not. I mean, and so, like, the team would not waste time on gamesmanship. So I do not think this is a gamesmanship situation. And I wouldn't worry about, the team trying to, make the 49ers adjust. Like, maybe the 49ers have to spend a little bit extra time on Drew Lock, but I don't think that that's an issue. So there we go. Like, that's the main thing. Now let's switch gears and talk about the rest of the news and the rest of the injury report. So the only person other than Sam Darnold on the injury report for the Seahawks is Josh Jones. And Josh Jones is out. Not questionable, not doubtful. He is out. And you remember when I told you, and I was trying to, like, give you guys some awareness, like, I was not sure Josh Jones was going to be able to play week 18. He was hurting coming out of the Carolina game, like hurting. And for him to have played that game, he's a warrior, man. Like, if you ever see Josh Jones, if you ever interact with him online, give him some gratitude for putting his body on the line in week 18 to help the Seahawks clinch the division, the number 1 seed, home field advantage throughout, because that guy's a warrior. That was huge for him to do what he did. And it was so huge that now 2 weeks later, he hasn't practiced. He's not playing. Like, he's just out with a knee injury. Don't know how long that's going to be, but that's the state of it. So that's a pretty big deal. It's great that Charles Cross is going to play, but it is worth knowing that that Charles Cross had a knee brace on his knee when he ran out to practice. So I will show you guys what that looked like. Do 1 second. So let me put this out here for you guys to see, and I'll add this back on. So there we go. So here's Charles Cross running out onto the practice field, and you can see that left knee does have a brace on it, right? But I have full mobility, or else he wouldn't have a knee brace, right? But he didn't have to be jogging, and he is. And the fact of the matter is, he's playing. That's the expectation. So Charles Cross will play in this game. That's pretty big news. And outside of that, Elijah Arroyo, Ernest Jones, who missed with an illness, he's going to play. Kobe Bryant, who has missed a number of games with the knee, no injury designation, he's going to play. I think there's a pretty decent chance that both Elijah Arroyo and Chaz Surratt, who are full participants in practice, will be activated from the injured list and play. That's big. That's big to get those guys back. So really, you've got everybody other than Josh Jones. That's the real injury report. And then if you turn your attention to the 49ers, talk about gamesmanship. they were really kind of making it seem like maybe Fred Warner especially, was making it seem like maybe he would come back. He didn't even practice today. He's out. He's not going to be activated for this game. From there, Ricky Pearsall was limited again in practice today, has only been limited in practice all week. He is listed as questionable for this game. That's of note. I think that guy is really important for a team that's missing a lot of playmakers. And when you're losing George Kittle, getting Ricky Pearsall back would be certainly helpful. And as of now, he is questionable. So the other guys that are questionable, D. Winters, he was limited all week with an ankle at linebacker. He's listed as questionable. He has the exact same injury report situation as Ricky Pearsall, which might not be good news for either one of them. Luke Gifford, the linebacker, did not participate to limited today with a quad injury. He is questionable. And then Jacob Cowing, a receiver, is questionable. But the other one that's of note, Jair Brown, their safety, he hurt his hamstring against the Eagles. It was unlikely he was going to play. He's been listed as out. So that means Marcus Siegel, their rookie, will play again for them. He played against the Eagles, played well. He played week 1 against the Seahawks, played well. I don't think that's a huge downgrade, but it is worth just noting that, the guy that they have chosen to play and to start is not going to play and start in this game. So looking at all right, so this is some from Grant Cohn. So let's get Grant's. I haven't listened to this, but I'm going to play it because I asked Grant about Ricky Pearsall, and he's posted this video. So let's watch it together and see what Grant had to say about it.
The most frustrating part of this PCL injury you got?
Toughest part is just being in and out, bro. Like, that's probably the toughest part, is like it just lingering around. It's one of those injuries that it's not going to heal up until I'm fully rested and done. And I can't do that right now, obviously, so just getting it back to being manageable. But yeah, just any explosive movements, honestly.
What's your confidence level that you will play on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I've been in every practice this week. Yeah, you guys saw me practicing last week, but if you really saw me practicing, I couldn't really lift up my leg, very well. So I was trying to get back, but this week gave me a little bit more of optimism that I'm going to be playing this week, and yeah, I'm getting more confident.
To kind of follow up on that, is there any obstacle or mental obstacle that you have to kind of get over to just play mindless football out there, being that you've had to be in and out with this injury?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when you just feeling pain over and over again, and then you have an injury that's lingering, yeah, you got to kind of work through that confidence thing and get it back. But that just comes down to, how good can you get it to be feeling in the training room, and then when you step on the football field, excuse my language, say fucking go, you know what I mean? So that's just been my mindset every time I step on the field, and then doing everything I can in there.
So I don't know what you guys think about that. I mean, he sounds like a guy that, one, doesn't have total confidence in that knee really getting anywhere close to where he wants it to be for the rest of this season until he's not playing and can rest it up and heal. But more confident than he was last week, and he couldn't lift his leg. But now he's feeling better. I don't know. I mean, it's a really interesting situation. If you were a 49er fan, God forbid, but if you were, and you were following this team, and Pearsall's one of your young and up and coming players. Now he's been injured. He's battled these injury situations, but he's definitely talented. He's a good player. Do you put him in this situation where he could do what George Kittle did last week and soldier through, play a game, and then blow his Achilles? And he's lost maybe for next year too. So do you play Ricky Pearsall, and then there's this chance that you lose him as well for next season? I mean, if he blows out the knee, it's not just going to be rest and rehab. It's going to be, surgery. So it's I think that's a tough choice. I mean, personally, I hope he plays. I hope he makes it through healthy, all that stuff, because I would like Reek Woolen to kind of have his opportunity to change the story of what happened in week 1. I think he did in the last game they played against the 49ers. But, there's still people out there with, I think, really stupid takes. Who was it? Like Dante Whitner was out there saying, I went back and watched week 1 and Ricky Pearsall really went after Reek Woolen. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, he caught something on Reek Woolen, but that was because Reek Woolen misjudged a ball in the air. It wasn't like he routed him up and was like Reek Woolen was in perfect position to make that play. I'd love Reek Woolen to get a chance to get out there and get his get back in this game. But either way, I think we've got some question mark about Ricky Pearsall. I think we know now that Fred Warner is not going to play. We know that Jair Brown's not going to play. And we know that Josh Jones on the Seahawks is not going to play. That's where you are. So I think this whole Sam Darnold thing is like a lot about nothing. Well, not nothing, but a lot about something that probably will not be a factor on Saturday. And you obviously want him to make it through healthy as much as possible. I think it probably, if you're the coach, maybe you're doing a little bit more, emphasis on the run game, which already was probably part of the game plan. And maybe you're a little bit more cautious about long developing plays or plays that, could put him in harm's way. But the Seahawks still have every reason to separate from the 49ers on both sides of the ball and make this a non-issue. But, they got to go do it on Saturday. So that's kind of that's the story here. I'm not going to make this a much longer show than it has to be. I've got stuff I got to do as well, but I wanted to make sure I gave this, to you guys and give you all that information. So I'm going to look quickly at chat, see if there's any questions that I did not answer. I know that I did not shut out the 49ers fans initially, but now they're gone. So, let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in here that really needs me to respond to it. So, quick summary for people that just got here. Sam Darnold's is fine. He said there's a near 0% chance that he wouldn't play in this game, which means there's almost 100% chance he is going to play in this game. He did tweak his oblique during throwing against air drills today, just throwing to receivers. And the only person on the Seahawks that is not going to play in this game is Josh Jones, the backup left tackle. Charles Cross is going to play in this game. It does mean that the backup left tackle is likely Amari Kite, the undrafted free agent rookie. So that's something to, you need Charles Cross to make it through this. And from a 49ers standpoint, Fred Warner will not play in this game. Jair Brown, their starting safety, will not play in this game. And there's at least some question about Ricky Pearsall as well as D. Winters, the linebacker, whether they're going to play. They're listed as questionable. So that's where we are. That's where we are. I think just want to make sure we got this news out here. I'll be back tomorrow morning with Dave Bowling and Mike Sando, and then Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and then Adam Ray. So we'll have some laughs tomorrow for sure. Looking forward to hanging out with those guys. And if you missed the show this morning with Brian Baldinger, Brett Coleman of Bootleg Football, and Mina Kimes, highly recommend you go find that. Great stuff from those guys. All right, got a couple super chats before I get out of here. Peter Gohawk says, great news. Let's go, Sam. Whiners are done. And Kizzy FM has been a member for 6 months. Expect more blitzing from the Niners. Maybe. They're not a blitz team. They are like a limited explosives team. So they will blitz a little bit, but I don't think that's something that they're going to like dial up more, because that opens them up to having JSN and Rashid Shaheed with very advantageous coverages that could really burn them. So it doesn't really fit Robert Saleh's profile as a defensive play caller. But, you know, I'm sure they'll test him. They'll do everything they can to test him. And we'll just have to see how that goes. All right, everybody, that will do it for this episode of this emergency pod edition. Hopefully you got what you needed. If you haven't already given a like and click subscribe, please do. Also, make sure you head over to patreon.com/hawkblogger, sign up, join the community, get ad-free audio of this show, as well as access to the Discord server where you can continue the conversation in Discord. I see a complaint for somebody who is a patron subscriber and not being able to chat in subscriber only. Not exactly sure what you mean by that. Like, subscriber is free. If you've been a subscriber on this channel, I basically limit it to make sure you've been a subscriber for long enough that you're not some 49ers fan that just came in today or this week to try to troll this show. But if you've been a subscriber for a little while, then you're able to chat regardless of if you're a patron or not. And it's another good reminder to subscribe to the show so you can have access to the chat. All right, everybody, take care. Have a great rest of your afternoon.